Hello, unique souls. We are in lesson 10 today. Lesson 10 is My thoughts do not mean anything. Lesson 4 stated, These thoughts do not mean anything. As Jesus explains in the second paragraph, he now says, my instead of this, thus making the teaching much more personal for us. So this idea applies to all the thoughts of which you are aware or become aware in the practice periods. The reason the idea is applicable to all of them is that they're not your real thoughts. We have made this distinction before, and we'll do so again. You have no basis for comparison yet. When you do, you will have no doubt that what you once believed were your thoughts did not mean anything. Our real thoughts would be anything in our right minds, anything that comes from the Holy Spirit. In this sense, an unreal thought would be, for example, that someone is attacking me. The real thought would be that this is a call for love. And it is a call for love that is shared by me. However, as Jesus is teaching us here, we are still far too identified with our thoughts to be able to seriously to entertain what he's saying to us about the thoughts that our thoughts are covering. But we are only on lesson 10. This is the second time we have used this kind of idea. The form is only slightly different. This time the idea is introduced with my thoughts instead of these thoughts. And no link is made overtly with the things around you. The emphasis is now on the lack of reality of what you think you think. Jesus is not talking about what we perceive outside. He is now talking about what we think. You can see in these lessons how he goes back and forth in his gentle attempts at convincing us that we are not who we think we are. It is a process that gradually leads us through the labyrinth of our ego's thought system. The seeming terror of the circle of fear he describes in the text, to the love of God that happily awaits us just beyond. So, paragraph 3 is a nice statement of projection, although the term itself is not used. This aspect of the correction process began with the idea that the thoughts of which you are aware. This aspect of the correction process began with the idea that the thoughts of which you are aware are meaningless, outside rather than within, and then stressed their past rather than their present status. Now we're emphasizing that the presence of these thoughts means that you are not thinking. This is merely another way of repeating our earlier statement that your mind is really a blank. To recognize this is to recognize nothingness when you think you see it. As such, it is the prerequisite for vision. Jesus wants us to understand that our thoughts are nothing. However, we take these thoughts of nothingness and project them because we think they're real. Thus, are they seen as real limits in the outside world? Jesus wants us to understand that the thoughts that are now the projected source of our perceptions are not really there. Our minds, to repeat this important idea, are filled with thoughtless thoughts or thoughtless ideas, because they are based on the ego's illusory thought system of separation. Close your eyes for these exercises and introduce them by repeating the idea for today quite slowly to yourself. Then add, this idea will help to release me from all that I now believe. My thoughts do not mean anything. The exercises consist as therefore in searching your mind for all the thoughts that are available to you, all the thoughts that are available to you without selection or judgment. Try to avoid classification of any kind. In fact, if you find it helpful to do so, you might imagine that you are watching an oddly assorted procession going by, which has little, if any, personal meaning to you. As each one crosses your mind, say, my thought about blah 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 does not mean anything. My thought about blah blah does not mean anything. Today, we're gonna do, let's say, a more leveled up practice. I will help you throughout your practice. So we are going to spend almost 1 or 2 minutes. We're going to close our eyes and we will search for our thoughts in our mind. Try to find everything, every thought without discrimination, without judging your thoughts, because these are your thoughts. Okay, you in your frequency field right now, you're like attracting those thoughts from the cosmic universe. So basically, do not judge your thoughts. Just try to think of everything and list it in your mind and apply the lesson. My thought about something, whatever comes to your mind, my thought about that my cat is ugly does not mean anything. My thought about my teacher is making me angry about certain issue does not mean anything. My thought about my friend is making me jealous about wearing, let's say, wearing certain clothes does not mean anything. So let's close our eyes and try to think of our thoughts and apply the lesson for every one of those thoughts. I'll let you know when the time is up. We will spend almost 2 minutes, because actually you don't have to spend more than 1 minute, but since we are doing it together for the first time, so we will spend almost 2 minutes. So it starts now. Okay. Actually, it's almost 3 minutes right now, but I had a lot of thoughts, so that's cool. Maybe you have spent a lot of time to, face with your thoughts and try to uncover what you are, always thinking about. There are so many things going on in our mind, and when we listen them, at least we are aware and we can observe them, and we can really understand they do not mean anything, and they are usually ego driven thoughts. So we are trying to observe them in a sense that they do not mean anything in the truth eye, because usually they are like judgments, they are usually like one-sided, non-truthful, non-neutral opinions and perspectives, which we are trying to actually maybe at least be aware of. The first step is the awareness. This is an example of what it means to look with Jesus at your ego, the importance of which we continually emphasize. The you that looks with no personal attachment to these thoughts is the decision-making part of our mind, return to which is the course's goal, and the meaning of the miracle that gives A Course in Miracles its name. The process entails standing back with Jesus, watching. Yep. A Course in Miracles, its name. The process entails standing back with Jesus, watching your ego make a case against someone or yourself, seeing it take a fragment here and a piece form there, weaving together a seemingly complete picture in order to prove you're right about your perceptions of victimization in the world, and that everyone else is wrong, including the Holy Spirit. You simply watch your ego in action, an oddly assorted procession going by, its purpose being to confuse us about our identity, making us believe we are a body, not a mind. While Jesus is not giving us his full teaching here, he is laying out its basic principles. Finally, today's thought can obviously serve for any thought that distresses you at any time. In addition, 5 practice periods are recommended, each involving no more than a minute or so of mind searching. It's not recommended that this time period be extended, and it should be reduced to half of a minute or less if you experience discomfort. If you experience discomfort, you might reduce the times of the period of 5 practice period. But the basic suggestion is to do like 5 period, and half of a minute or less is enough. So basically we have done everything together. If you've done it today, like I think it's done, but you can also use the other 4 times. Remember, however, to repeat the idea slowly before applying it specifically, and also to add, this idea will help me to release me from all that I now believe. You can see once again the importance generalization holds for Jesus. We are asked to practice with the same gentle kindness he exhibits towards us, with our specific misperceptions, in order to generalize the principles learned in these applications to all our experiences. This theme continues to recur throughout these early lessons. So again, today's lesson is, as we all know, my thoughts do not mean anything. This is our training, and I wish you good luck for the rest of today. Bye.